Alright, what's up guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Flashpoint Batman. I believe he is a Target exclusive. Now, if you're not familiar with this Batman, he is Bruce Wayne's daddy. And he's from a different universe or world where Bruce Wayne died, I believe, and Martha became the Joker. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I actually haven't read Flashpoint. How sad is that? I might have a long time ago or seen the animated movie, but if you're familiar with him, he's a total badass who is not afraid to kill. So I'm not going to be taking a look at the packaging, FYI. If you've ever owned a DC Multiverse figure, all the boxes are the same except for the back art, which is the same as the collectible card they come with. So the back of his box will look exactly like this for the most part, with some images of other figures on the bottom. They're these kinds of images, not the actual figure. But here is a good image of Thomas Wayne. You can see he looks very, very, very badass in the art, but not exactly like the Batman we see, and we'll talk about why. On the back, there is a little read-up on him. You can pause it if you'd like to read it, and you get some other stats on Thomas Wayne. And then for our next accessory, we get a typical DC Multiverse stand, which I really love that they add these. And then we do get two pistols that are exactly the same, and you can see that the paint on these is absolutely stunning. I love the silver metal all throughout. It genuinely looks like gunmetal, and the sculpt is just so fantastic. Really, really beautiful job on McFarlane's part. To get them in the holster, which I have not done yet, is very, very easy, and they're definitely not going to fall out anywhere. And he does hold the gun spectacularly, but it is a little bit of a struggle to pop it in his hand. I will show you what I mean, because I probably should do that. You can see pretty easy to slide it out, but you can see, there you go. It's just kind of tight in there and snug, which I guess is a really good thing. Nothing's going to break it. It's very solid. So my main problem with Thomas Wayne is two things. One, well, I guess three. He kind of slouches. As you can see, his belly kind of sticks out. And I think it's because this crotch piece could be a little bit lower. And I don't think it's soft plastic all the way around. It's definitely a bit softer, but the front crotch piece is very hard. That sounded literally so wrong, and I'm so sorry you had to listen to that and cringe. But the second thing I really have an issue with is the ankles. Again, sometimes they really pull these ball joints off in the feet. Other times they just look awkward as shit, and this is one of those times. They look kind of fucking weird, not gonna lie. I don't think we need ball joints in the legs. I don't mind them at the wrists, but they could get rid of that completely. I'd be totally fine. Copy with Legends and Black series and Lightning Collection and G.I. Joe all do. That shit works really well. And then there is this, the poop stained beard. What were they thinking? This looks like a goddamn nightmare, and I'm hoping I can fix that. Maybe I could wipe it off with some alcohol, but I don't want to ruin the face paint. Comment below if you know how to get rid of this in a safe way, or if I just have to paint it, because it looks like complete shit. One of the things I do love about this guy is the cut right below his, or above his diaphragm, right at the rib cage right here. Jesus, did they do that so well. That is exactly how it should be. And you can see they've come a long way since the first Batman they released. It just is so smooth, man. And it works pretty well, in my opinion. It's a little bit hindered, and you can kind of see, but along with this little swivel here, down in the waist, it works well and looks really, really good. So I really do love how they cut some of these joints. It doesn't blend as well as some of the other figures in terms of these bicep joints here, the double joints. At the legs, same thing. It just looks more like a Legends. The pegs really stand out, but that's okay. I don't really have a big problem with that. Honestly, in terms of design, I'm going to say this is one of my favorite Multiverse figures they have released. There's a few clunky things on them, like the ankles and maybe that slouching, but you can get over that. I mean, you can kind of push him back there and offset it quite a bit. That's still a bit far back. If you fidget with it, it looks pretty good. See, that's nice. And that stubble is rough. But I mean, aside from that, the cuts on this guy are great. The proportions are pretty good. Kind of long legs, maybe. But maybe I'm just critiquing too much. Really, really nice sculpting job. The belt and the holsters just look amazing, and they really pop. And again, McFarlane coming at us with the sculpted symbols. I love that they actually go out of their way to sculpt it and not paint it. You can even see it almost looks like it's popping off a bit there, sadly, but I'm guessing that's not with just mine. Or I'm guessing it is with just mine, or maybe I'm wrong. No, the plastic just hangs a bit lower there. I almost thought that was a hole right there. It's not, so it's not coming off. It looks really, really good. The sculpt on the gloves is also very, very nice. I love seeing all those little bolts all throughout. Again, I love that belt. And I love the seams throughout this costume. Just a really, really nice design. And the colors are all very, very consistent. And I love the red eyes, man. Beautiful red eyes, really nice flesh tone. And I love that the lips are a different kind of tone, but they're not super pink or anything. They look pretty good. And the face sculpt is actually really, really nice. Now that I recognize this, it almost looks like he's biting his bottom lip a little bit, but whatever, I don't care. It's nitpicky. I love the sculpting on the head, though. I love the mask and the cowl and everything. On the back here, the cape looks really, really dope. They did a really good job sculpting this cape. I love these little hooks here up top. Very soft plastic. The ears are not. They're very hard plastic. Nice seam going up. And the legs, too, also have that bolt and kind of rough sculpt on them. It'd be nice if they almost gave them kind of a gunmetal shine, too. So they looked a little more scuffed and shiny. That'd be kind of dope. And I do like these knee pads as well. That kind of hides the articulation if you don't look at the pegs. But really, there's not a whole lot of weak points. I also like the fact that they have these straps here that aren't attached to the holster, so you're not really hindering the articulation. You're not going to ruin anything. I do dig that. But there's really not a whole lot that I could complain about with this guy. I think he does look beautiful on the shelf. The things that I complain about are actually really minor in the grand scheme, you know? This guy is really beautiful. Now, for his articulation, it's pretty typical McFarlane articulation. His head looks down. I believe it's on like a dumbbell joint in there. So it has a very natural range of motion and movement. Goes back quite far. He has a pretty thick neck. His arms go up quite a bit and are a little bit hindered by the cape. He also has a little butterfly joint in there that works all right. It almost feels a little loose and weird in there, but it's pretty nice. Arms go forward and back, of course. There is a rotation at the bicep. Double jointed arms. All these joints are really tight, I should mention. I showed you guys that this goes forward about that far, and it goes back pretty dang far, man. There is a rotation as well. You can obviously pivot him like so. And I should mention too, you have the ball joints in the wrist that you can kind of angle forward or back or down and rotate it. It's a little bit tough to maneuver, but you can vary the way. You can put it in either a horizontal type of hinge or a vertical hinge because of the ball joint there. So that's a really nice feature. The legs go out pretty far. Again, we have kind of a softer plastic crotch piece, but in the front it's pretty hard plastic. Goes forward quite a little bit hindered. Doesn't go back too crazy far. There is a rotation under there, but it's very slight, sadly. He does have double jointed knees, no rotation below the knees except for at the foot. He has that ball joint that gives you kind of a ankle pivot, but it's kind of weak, and I'm not a huge fan of that. And for size comparisons, here he is next to the Joker that just released, who is a little bit shorter, maybe just about the same height, or even, I'd say he's maybe about the same height. And if you take off the ears from the Arkham Knight Batman, he's pretty much the same height as Thomas Wayne, maybe a little bit shorter, but he also seems a bit bulkier. So overall, I think McFarlane did an absolutely fantastic job with this figure, and I totally recommend him to anybody who wants him, unless they have a problem with weird ball joint angles. But for me, it's easy to see past. I think the character is really dope, and I love him on my shelf. He looks beautiful. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching this review. I hope it was insightful for you, and I hope it helped you out a little bit. And I hope you go and pick this dude up, because he's a lot of fun, honestly. Anyways, stay tuned for more reviews. I have more coming. I've been very busy with school, but I have break now, so I'm going to get on that. Unfortunately, though, I have to get tested for COVID because I was exposed, like many of us probably have been. So stay safe, stay healthy, guys. Stay quarantined if you can, and just be cautious. You know, take care of other people. But keep collecting. Peace. Something very, very, oh,